got to foot the bill.
When you look at that on top of all the other issues we have with the economy, the job market, I mean, we have so many people out of work that can't find jobs, and some of them that have found jobs are underemployed. They're not making the money that they used to make. The depreciation of houses, what you have, you're making payments on houses now that aren't worth what you owe on them. And to throw all these heavy taxes on top of all of that somehow doesn't seem to make sense.
It's ridiculous. And it's like, as I said, capital gains goes from 15 to 20, dividends goes from 15 to 39, but then in 2013, after the hike of the 39.6, the way it is right now, the rates are supposed to rise another 3.8%. I mean, has anyone ever seen Paris? Paris middle class, okay, they're pretty much they're almost eliminated. They're sitting at almost a 98% income tax bracket. I mean, it's insane. It's kind of like we're just going to go to work and be slaves. It's not right. I mean, it's not a question of a one-family income anymore. It's a question of a two-family income, one to pay the taxes and one to get your bread and milk.
Well, we're going to go back to having to put the kids to work too, I guess.
I believe that's coming. The medicine cabinet tax, thanks to the program, will no longer be able to use for health savings accounts. And health savings accounts are a big thing. They're the flexible spending accounts that a lot of people use for health reimbursement, pre-tax dollars to purchase non-prescription over-the-counter medicines. Eliminated. I mean, you sit back and you say, what? There's people out there that have special needs children. I mean, that's very important. This imposes a cap on flexible spending accounts of $2,500. Currently, there was no limit. Okay, so now you're sitting there with $2,500 spending limits. Tuition rates at one leading school that teaches special needs children in Washington, D.C. will easily, under the National Child Research, exceed over $14,000 per year. I mean, it's just insane. And we've got to sit back and we've got to fight. I mean, it's like when I go and try to get this information, I've kind of like got to have a suitcase just to try to get all the information that I can. The other thing is the provision for the health and savings account increases the additional tax on non-medical early withdrawals from an HSA, home savings account, from 10 to 20%. I mean, that's just absolutely huge. You've got the alternative minimum tax. Last year, it hit maybe 4 million, okay? We're looking at close to 28 million families that are going to be affected by this. Small business expenses, which is supposed to stimulate the economy and have people hire people, it's going to be slashed. The business expensing will be slashed, and 50% expensing will disappear. All you people out there that are buying equipment that you basically had the ability for normal expense rather than slowly deduct or depreciate equipment, which was purchases up to $250,000, this is going to be cut down to $25,000.
Aren't we putting the death tax back in play as well?
Yes.
So now,
yes.
if you have accumulated property like a farm, it's been in a family for years, it may have significant value, but are your kids going to be able to continue the farm if they've got to pay the taxes on that when you die?
Yes, and so that's kind of where I was saying, before, where I said if a family inherits $1 million for the business, but they have, values of $500,000, you're going to have a problem. And the problem you're going to basically have is anything over that million on any type of inheritance is going to be taxed at 55%. you know, and it's like here, you've got the hidden tax, which they classify as the Medicare tax, and basically it says that the Democrats included a 3.8% Medicare payroll tax on single people who earn more than $200,000 a year, and couples earning over $250,000, which is really $125,000 per person. Starting in 2013, the tax will be applied to interest, dividends, capital gains, rents, and royalties. I mean, whoa, you know. It's just, it's literally getting out of control.
Well,
And-
when the federal government starts to take those kinds of funds, then it rolls downhill. The state governments won't have access to the money they need to operate, because they aren't going to be able to put more taxes on top of taxes. The local school districts, the local fire departments, the local police departments, they're not going to be able to get bond issues passed. We're already going to be paying more taxes than we can support. So everything is going to be impacted.
I mean,
by
it's
these
like I
taxes.
said, $200 and something billion. I mean, the whole focus is we had the 2008 crash, which was caused by the bankers, okay, which was the subprime mortgage, okay. We all know that fractional reserve lending for banks is very important for people to understand. Projected, I had something here that wasn't too far off, 1,000 banks to fail. I mean, you know, now the Drudge Report a couple weeks ago predicted, you know, 896, okay? And the thing you have to understand, people, is you want to understand your banking system. We used to have something out there, and the way we had money was backed up by the gold standard. It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. If someone has $100,000, they're only required under the fractional reserve, you know, system with the banks 1/10. So if you give me $100,000 and I put it in the bank, you think your money's backed up and they've got it in a vault somewhere. All they've got to do is back it up 1/10. So if that's $10,000 on your $100,000, then they can take your $100,000 and loan it out 9 more times and charge people interest on your money. But there was, you know, never any interest to begin with.
Yeah.
And why that's so scary is because that, you know, it's the old story where, well, don't worry, you know, it's backed up by the FDIC. Well, the FDIC basically was sitting at negative 0.16, you know,
So
on
they're
your money.
almost bankrupt.
I mean, it actually negative 0.16. Yeah. So you sit back and you say, okay, well, my money's protected and with the promise to pay. Okay, and here's what I tell you people out there: if you have your money in your bank and you understand the fractional reserve system that I'm explaining to you, and I'm showing you how many banks are basically going to be that are projected to foreclose and, you know, are in the process of it, the first thing you want to understand, it's so critical, is okay, they promised to pay it back to me. Is that kind of like your Social Security? Was that something that when we had it deducted from our actual wages, that we were promised to get it back? Now, all of a sudden, all we have is a big IOU. Where's the Social Security money and the General Relief Fund? I'll tell you where it is. It's with a certain president and a certain person that actually ran our money by the name of Greenspan, that there was something called a General Relief Fund. Do you remember that one, Harry?
I remember it.
Yeah, well, the General Relief Fund is relieved of what? Money. So the thing you need to realize, well, you know, it's backed by the good faith, you know, and promises of our government. Okay, fair enough, but here's the problem. Are they not freezing the cost of living adjustments on Social Security?
Yes, they are.
Are they not trying to raise Social Security to age 70?
That's what we keep hearing.
Are they basically now saying that they want to reduce and cut retiree Social Securities? They've already got different states where they've cut pension funds, okay? There's rumors of something where they're wanting to go into 401ks and they want to basically take it over and give you a stipend on your life savings, okay? Which basically means you'd get the money from Uncle Sam. Isn't that nice? You know, we tax everybody and now all of a sudden we go ahead and we do this, you know? That's my point. We've got to stand up and we've got to protect our money. And the thing that I want you to be careful with is the promise to pay. okay? If they promise to pay, and I'm telling you, if there's a bank run, if things get nasty, everybody in the world is going to run to the bank. Remember 2008?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they don't have your money in a vault, okay? And if we all ran on the same day to the bank, guess what? It's not there. Now, don't worry, because maybe depending upon how bad it is, we have the answer. We'll just go back to printing money, okay? Because we can just print money for free. That's the easy way to do it, right?
We've done it before.
But if you print money, what happens?
Inflation.
Inflation. And inflation goes into superinflation. And if you people have noticed lately, it's not just inflation. Right now you see deflation, right? What's this, Wendy's, McDonald's? I mean, what is it, dinner's $1 now or something? I mean, I was driving down the road, oh, by the way, don't forget to get 2 pizzas at Pizza Hut. I'm like, I don't have time to get 2 pizzas for Pizza Hut. I got to be somewhere. Oh, don't worry, just stand out. They're out on the road. They're out on the road. Just stick your window down and give them $5 and you'll get 2 pizzas. Now, that's cost, okay? That's deflation. And right before deflation, woo, inflation. Then comes superinflation. So what I want to do is I just want you guys to do your due diligence out there. I want you to take the information that I've given to you, and I want you to understand. I want you to Google the tax increases. I want you to Google the information about the health care reform bill. I want you to understand one key word, the Medicare health tax, okay? All this is important to you. You're going to see things, what they're going to be doing when you go to buy a home on capital gains tax. Now it's not just going to be capital gains tax, but now they want to have another tax, okay, that when you go ahead and sell your home. And what we're going to do is we are going to talk in our next show how to protect ourselves from the tax increases that's going to be coming. But this show is basically to wake you up a little bit and say that we need to start protecting what we spent a life earning. We need to keep what we've earned, and you're not going to keep what you've earned, putting it in a situation where you can constantly be taxed, because it's going to hurt you, it's going to take you out, and inflation's going to take you out. And think about this for a second. If the stock market continues to crash, are the taxes going to disappear? No. They're going to be there. And you're going to need to protect your money so that you can at least accumulate enough to use your gain to pay your taxes if you're lucky enough.
Well, John, I think we ought to let our listeners know that we've got a new program now that allows us to have our show up on the internet, and people can go in and watch it anytime and not just wait for it to show up on TV.
Yes.
And the website, I believe, is coming up on the screen. It's my.pegcentral.com. And if they put that in their browser and then go into the financial folder, they'll be able to pick up our show or have friends and relatives that don't get Wadsworth cable to go in and see our show. So nice asset that the city has added to their program.
That's excellent, and that's because, again, we want to get the information. As we know, we had a lot of problems before where people were trying to take away our public programming, okay? And we fought, and we'll continue to fight, because it's so important that the people out there get the education that they're looking for. So the next session, how to protect ourselves from tax increases. Until the next meeting, stay tuned. I'm John Zidane. This is my co-host, Harry Kimes. Thank you, and have a great day.